Okay, moving forwards from the last video where we did some traces to essentially respond to cue points, we're now going to take that a little bit further and do something a bit more visual. Okay, so let's close this video window down. I'm going to return to the FOA file, and what I'm going to do is in the library I'll be creating a new symbol. So I can right click, create a new symbol, and this will be I'll call it circle, and I'll add it as a movie clip. And now I'll click OK. Actually, no, before I do that, I will export Fraction Script. And I'll call it circle with a capital C because that is the convention for class names. This will allow me to add it at runtime, which is quite useful, especially for what we've got in mind. Can't find a definition for this class. Okay, so it's going to create one. We should note in the library then that it's created this movie clip, and to the right side there's the class name for it, which we can use either to define a new class file if we want, or for very rudimentary purposes you can just use it to instantiate using action script, which is the main reason why I'm going to do this. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a circle. There's a slightly different way to creating a symbol and what you might be used to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle. Let's get rid of the outline. The blue and the green doesn't go through too well. And should be able to just, use the align tool, align panel, to align to the stage. So in this case that will be to the registration point, which is a little crosshair here, and I'll center it in both axes, so now it's centered. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a symbol within a symbol, so I'll call this circ inner. The reason I'm going to do that is because eventually I might want to change the colour of the circle dynamically, and to do that I'd need to be able to access a movie clip. And I could do that with the overall movie clip, but given that I'm intent on creating some text fields over the top of it, I'm going to need that movie clip. Okay. So then in the text field, that's up here, that I can change between classic and TLF. I'm actually going to stick to classic. TLF's been dropped as far as I know in CC anyway, and we're going to change it to dynamic text, so that means we can then control it. So let's just put some text in for a text field, like so, and just pull it down over the centre for now, and I'll just double check the colour, which has picked up the same colour as the circle itself started off with. And we can live with white. Certainly that needs to be 75 point. Try with 18 first. That should allow me to make the text field a bit smaller. And we will just give that an instance name of info underscore txt, show the text field, and then I'll return to scene 1 and create that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to test whether we can instantiate that class when our hue occurs. So what I'm going to do is try that, and the way I do that is var, which will then give me the which will contain the object or the instance. I'll give it essentially what is an instance name, although you can't really use it outside of the scope of this function to refer to the object. If you need to refer to it, you would have to put it inside of an array and then pull it out by its actual instance number. But when we're creating it, we can use a meaningful name. So for example, I can call it new circle. New circle will be of circle type, and that will be a new circle created. Now if I had created a class file, it would actually give me circle showing up as an existing data type, which is quite useful when you're working on big projects actually. Okay, so I should add the circle, and then all I want to do is put it to the display list to start off with. So I'll tell it that I'm going to add new circle, which is child of the main stage, and we'll just save that. Give it a little test first. You might also get an error, well, a warning, not an error, regarding fonts. When you use text fields, you should embed the typefaces, which I'll run you through in a minute. Okay, so there we go. Big circle has appeared on stage. It's quite big. Actually, I might need to reduce the size of that a little bit. Okay, so I'll just return to visual test file. Into the library, double click on the circle, that will take me inside the circle. I could do this through code, but I'd rather just reduce things down a little bit like this. Okay, so we know that the circle appears. I'm going to go back to scene 1. In fact, I'm going to go back to the ActionScript class file. And the next thing I'm going to do is try and access the text field, which was called info underscore txt. If I access the text field and then its text property equals, and then what we'll go for is the Q point start off with, so I'll just copy and paste that in. Any bit of information is useful for testing, so I'll then save that, Control S, Control Enter to test it. And tell me if I define property info underscore txt. That is true. I do have an undefined property because that refers to new circle dot info text. Let's just save that and test it again and see what happens when it instantiates that. Just default into loud. Okay. There we go. You can just see at the top there some text appeared. What I can also do is to give it a specific position. So what I'll do is, what I might do, based on the size of the movie, which was something like 800 by 480, working within those bounds. Also, new circles x position equals math.random. This gives me a random number between 0 and 1, which I then multiply by the maximum size that I would like it to be. So in this case, let's say about 800. And I'll do the same for the y. Try and get them spread around a little bit. So 400 for that one. Save again and then test that. So see how that pops up now. There we go. Interesting typeface. Let's look for the next one. cue point. I do believe there's 3 cue points. With any luck, it might just put it somewhere around there, but it could just as easily put it over the top of one of the others. Ah, there we go. All cue points have appeared, and they've behaved themselves quite well, considering. Okay, so to deviate a little bit further from that, what I might want to do is put a piece of information in there that I've created or added. Now the only thing we've put in is that we've got link. So we could test that. So I'll just test that on the first one, just to see what it shows up. There we go. And it shows up that link. The text fields need to be the right size for this really. It's just look that it fits inside the circle in this case. If it goes beyond that, then you might get missing characters. So that's something to bear in mind when designing these kind of faces. We could have inside of the circle a bit of an animation, make it disappear. That's a little bit more complex, but it's not beyond this level, that's for sure. But I'll leave it to your imaginations what you can achieve in that respect. We might just do a little bit of additional work, because you can actually change the colour of the circle. So what I'm going to do is create a variable called myCT. I'll have to import this as well, which is going to be ColorTransform. I'm getting code hidden for that. Press return. It pops up. Equals new ColorTransform. Okay. Let's scroll up the page and see. Yes. Actually imported that for me. That's one of the beautiful things about Flash, if it's working correctly with its code hinting, is that it does some of the work for you. Okay, so that allows me to set for that variable myCT, which I set a property, for example a colour, which is a hexadecimal value. So for example I could say equals 0 times FF99AA, and that would set a specific colour. But a nice little way of achieving this is to actually times that hexadecimal by math.random to produce a genuinely random colour. Now white text over most colours should work pretty well, to be honest. You'd maybe put an outline on the text to make sure that it's completely legible. And you might even just have a pool of colours in an array and then just randomly pick them based on a number range. All sorts of things like that. And then we just add it to the instance that we want to change. So in this case, I need to refer to new circle dot inner. I think that was what it was called. Let's double check. Let's go into properties. That's slash. It's underscore inner. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. And then I use the word colour. So I use transform dot color transform, and it's got a small c because it's property rather than the method, and equals myCT. That should just about do it. So let's give that a go and see how it works out. So it's a red one. Pretty certain that that's now worked. Let's see what happens at 40 seconds. There we go, another colour. And you can also see in that example the URL is a bit longer and it goes off the edge of the page, as it were. So that's something to address at the design stage, really. But that's proof of concept. Okay, so that's where we'll leave at that stage. On to the next video where we'll start looking at how it interacts with other elements of the page when it's used inside of a HTML5 page. Okay.